think we are live. Okay, we're live. Welcome. Welcome to the live stream. A little early. Oh, I forgot to pull this out. Let's do that. Let's do that. And then let's watch a little Sargon earlier. Let's get over to here. Hi. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the live stream where we do it live. I did zero advertising. I should probably do that. Let's get the link. Hey, Ardent. How you doing, buddy? Good to see you. Where the hell's my... Oh, shoot. Should have gotten a link before I went into here. All right. I'll just post that. That's good enough. People will find it. People will figure it out. So, what was the week like? It's what I usually talk about in the pregame. Let's see. Well, this weekend... Oh, Ardent. Yes, the shilling is very important. Yes, it is. This weekend, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Ardent, I did mine 3 hours before my stream today and had about triple the viewers. Yeah, I should have done it. I'm being lazy. I'm full of food. Today I went to Triple Oaks Nursery, and I was there Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. It was a bit of a weird show because the organizers didn't show up on Sunday. So I ended up doing the event myself today. And the nursery guy was really cool. He let me set up in the main floor of the store instead of in the second floor where I would have been the only person. And I hung out. I didn't sell that many books, but I sold a few, and then I just went home. But it was weird. It was like first day, it was Black Friday. We were expecting maybe gangbusters, because everybody's out shopping. But I guess... it was so-so, and then Saturday was better, and then today was just like only me. So it was weird 3 days, but that's okay. I got more stuff coming up in December, and then Christmas is coming, and it's the holidays. Everybody's checked out. I'm checked out. I got to get rolling on book 17. I'm only about 11 pages in. Yeah, I got to get about 70 more pages, Joan. 70 more pages, Joan. And I want to get done before the end of the year. So that's about 2.5 pages a day. Right? Do you want to get down? Or do you want to go sit on your bed? Why don't you go sit on your bed? Here. You sit there? Or you want to get down? Okay, you want to get down. All right, here you go. Joan's leaving. As always, my co-host upstages me and then leaves. Ardent, LOL, maybe hire a sign spinner. That would be fun. I'd be open to that, just to see if it would work. I'll just set up somewhere and just hire a sign spinner to get people to come. That sounds almost like a crazy enough idea to work. But it's the holidays. I'm so checked out. Once Thanksgiving hits. Although last year I was really busy during the holidays. This year not so much. I'm scrambling to get some stuff going for January. But we'll see. I got all December to work on, maybe like the first 2 weeks before everybody's really checked out. Oh God. I mean, people are pretty checked out now, but at least they're at work. In about 2 weeks, people might be at work, but they're not going to be at work, if you know what I'm saying. Ardent. Oh, yeah. Happy late Turkey Day, by the way. It was good. Had a good Turkey Day. It was a small gathering for us. Normally, it's a big deal. But this year, kind of the family was spread out, so it was just me and my folks. So that was nice. And... we just had turkey and ate a lot of food. Usual stuff. Nothing crazy to report. And not a lot of leftovers this year. surprisingly. I mean, I got a few leftovers, but it only lasted me about 3 days. I usually like leftovers up until today. I ran out yesterday. LeMay is here. Hello, LeMay. And Arden says, hey, welcome to the live stream where we do it live. So, what's going on? This week in the box office is crazy. I'll say this about Wicked. I didn't really know much about the movie other than it was a musical, which was an instant turnoff, right? I don't like musicals. I don't like stories where people sing their dialogue. It's off-putting. I like the South Park one, the Book of Mormon, because they're making fun of everybody, always. But typically Broadway shows don't have... they are the opposite of comedy. Everybody's, very dignified, and they're very important. Ugh. So, but so many people raved about this thing, and it's making so much money. I actually, for a millisecond, thought, oh, maybe I'll have to go see this thing. Because I figured maybe my girlfriend might say, maybe we'll go see this. And I'd have to be like, all right. Because it did so well. But the interviews with Ariana Grande and the other woman, who I think her name, she's got a weird name like Enviro or something, or Eviro. Very strange name. Very strange looking woman as well. She looks more normal in the movie as a green witch than she does in real life. That's how kind of odd she looks. Anyhow, the press junket for these two gets weirder and weirder with every interview. Like, you got a hit movie. Why are you going to risk it by sending out two leads who apparently are getting really weird with it? Their body language is weird. They're saying weird stuff. It's like, don't mess this up. The studio finally has a hit on its hand, and you two are like acting like total weirdos. You know what it's like? It's like they didn't expect the movie to hit, and they were fully prepared to act super weird and then cry the moment anybody called it out. Right? The moment anybody called it out. And they're still lecturing people over this movie. Ardent, don't tell me your problems, I don't give a blank. My idea of a good musical involves a lot of foul language. Yeah, it's ridiculous. And so then they had this article out in Variety about supposedly people attacking the woman who was in a wheelchair, and I guess there's a character who's disabled in the movie. LeMay, they had a three-hour auditions. Oh my God. Indie Phantom is here. BO on fire. Too bad it's Wicked and Moana too. Moana. Ardent. Clipping that later. Please don't. Please don't, Ardent. Yeah, the BO's on fire, the box office. That's short for box office because we're Hollywood people. We're too busy to say full words. And shut up. Just shut up. Let the movie make money. Stop, being weird. So now they're lecturing people about ableism. They've got these weird interviews, and there's all these articles complaining about the audience singing along with the movie and saying the dialogue. Like, you're complaining about that? That's the last thing you should be complaining about. These people love the movie. Stop complaining. Indie Phantom, it ain't easy being green. Ardent, LOL. Well, let's get into it since we're talking about it. The top movie, though, is Moana 2. Am I saying that right? Moana. Moana. Oh, don't go out on me. Numbers website. So it's already at, holy cow, 135 million. That is a big gross, especially these days. And for the weekend, including Thanksgiving, it looks like 221. It's pretty crazy. Indie Phantom. These people suck, and not in a good way. Yes, they do. What the hell's going on with this website? Shoot. Just get me to the big list here. Come on. So, I don't, Ardent. Moana didn't even look good to me. Indie Phantom. I'd like to say Moana just to be off the Disney shills. I'd like to say Moana just to be off the Disney shills. It just seems like, everything is just a retread now. And people are, I guess, no one wants to go see a movie as an adult. Like, two adults, they're not seeing movies anymore. They're like smart enough to go, oh, screw it, we'll stream it later. It's like, at my age, me and my girlfriend we really don't go to the movies all that much. We went to one movie. I took her to go see Am I Racist? She didn't like it, really. It's just finally, such a terrible experience at the movies now. Now they're promoting those stupid popcorn boxes. LeMay. There was a movie theater that had sing-along and non-sing-along shows. Okay. Sounds like various levels of hell to me. Indie Phantom. Moana 2, just a hacked-up version of a TV series they had made. LeMay. I heard Moana 2 is disappointing. It was supposed to be a TV show, but they turned it into a movie. It shows in the pacing. Indie Phantom. Am I Racist is the funniest movie of the year. It was pretty good, I thought. JC is here. You took your girlfriend to a Matt Walsh documentary? Tony, you hopeless romantic. I know. I have a pretty good record picking movies. And it is a good movie. The site is slow tonight. I don't know if we're going to get to see any of the deets. So Moana 2, I guess it's all kids now. It's all take your kids to the movies. Kind of like the adults are just saying, yeah, movies. That was some quaint thing many years ago. I guess I'll take my kids. They could enjoy it. I hate it. If I want to see a movie, I'll just cheap out and wait until it hits streaming. I think that's what adults are doing. And quite frankly, I don't think kids want to go. Maybe real little kids, like the kind who would go see Moana. Ardent. Hey, JEC. Indie Phantom. I would sing along to Wicked using tracks from the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Yeah, exactly. I'd heckle Wicked like the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Yeah, this is all the intel we're going to get tonight, I think. Oh, boy. It is not loading. All right. Just stick with this. I can't go off the page. So, dropping from 1 to 2 is Wicked. It only dropped by 29%. That's pretty good. There's no arguing. It is a hit. It is a monster hit. So, Wicked is done 80 million this weekend. Indie Phantom. Kids aren't even really into movies. I think little kids are. I think in kids, you're talking about basically 3 ages of kids. You've got your toddlers who should never go to the movies. Toddlers and youngers, wait until your kids are older. When your kid can walk and talk on his own, then maybe you could start taking them out and training them on a very limited basis. But until then, please keep your child at home where they belong. But then you've got sort of, I'll say about 5 to 10-year-olds, like preteens. Those kids, that's sort of the fun age where you could take kids to see stuff and they're excited. They're just excited to be out of the house and doing something 9 times out of 10. Unless they're whining about something. It's fun for them. It's fun to go to the movies, get popcorn and hang out with mom and dad. It's all fun. And then they start hitting around the preteens, about 10 to like 14-ish. That's when they start to go, wait a minute, my parents suck. And slowly it starts to dawn on them. Yeah, my parents suck. Yeah, this sucks. Everything sucks. It takes a while, but, it starts around then. Slow rolls into, I don't want to go anywhere with you. And then, by the time they're 15, it's like, I don't want to go anywhere with you. So, you're essentially talking about taking the kids that are like 5 to 10 up, I'll say. That's who's going to see Moana. Any kid older than that starts to question your judgment. Ardent at Indie Phantom. Flex harder. Sing Norwegian death metal lyrics. Kite is here. Hi, Kite. Howdy. Hi, fellas. Ardent, low Kite. Indie Phantom. Yeah, Ardent. Anything to F with them. LeMay, my sis wants to see Wicked. Well, it's going to be your call, LeMay. You could score some points with the sis on a holiday. JC, you need activities for your kids when you have little kids. Movies counts as an activity. Yeah, the whole thing. It's a whole, thing. Kite, wait, how did Wicked stay up after that whacked out raging by the lady playing the Wicked Witch? It's a mega hit, Kite. It's a mega hit. It's only dropped by 29%. That's got legs. That's got big legs. Big giant legs that are going to walk across the country. It's going to be in theaters for like 8 weeks minimum. Probably longer. If people are singing along to it, I would keep it on a screen. If I was a theater owner, 100%. After 8 weeks, I'll keep this damn movie in as long as I can if I got a bunch of theater majors coming in singing to it every day. I'll start handing out flyers to the theater at every gay nightclub in the area. Come see Wicked. Come sing along. Ka-ching. That's ka-ching. I mean, nobody's going to see the movies. So why not show it to people who want to hang out? Storebang. Storebang's here. Green Lives Matter. They certainly do. LeMay at Kite. Theater kids are loyal to the other theater kids. Apparently. Ardent says hello, Storebang. I just didn't think there were that many of them. But apparently there are. I should have guessed because of the, the expansion of LGBTQIA+. I mean, some of these kids aren't really gay, but they're trying to get their gay cred in. So, it's an easy win to pretend you love live theater. Oh, I love Wicked. I'm like one of you. I'll get a letter now, right? Indie Phantom. So, is it just women and gay theater kids with the wicked type or wicked hype? I guess. I don't know. I don't want to see it. I mean, I had a curiosity in that, I might have to review it because maybe it was one of these breakthrough movies that needed to be seen. But I got the kind of impression with Barbie, and I still haven't seen that, so screw it. Kite. Note to self, make a movie for theater kids. Can be a garbage place. Can be a garbage piece off, and theater teachers will extrapolate BS messages for me. Indie Phantom. No straight dudes doing sing-alongs. Nah, I don't think so. except maybe Rocky Horror Picture Show, only because it's dirty. JC, I think it's mostly women. My mom went to it. Why don't you take your mom? It's the holidays, JEC. Score some points. My mother wouldn't go see this, I don't think. I think my mother would go see it if she got dragged to it by the other women in her circle, maybe. And then she'd go see and she'd be like, hey, it was okay. She's not really a musical theater person. I don't think my girlfriend is particularly interested in it. Although she did get a pair of tickets to Kinky Boots once and invited me, and I'm like, I don't want to. What? Kinky Boots? That sounds like the gayest. That sounds even gayer than Wicked. No thanks. We didn't go. I forget what we did instead. Yeah, so I am surprised by the legs on Wicked. It's going to be interesting to see if Moana 2 can sustain itself. Now, I was going to say at some part of the week, and I don't think I said it, but I was thinking that maybe Wicked would eat up all its audience the first weekend, kind of like the Taylor Swift movie, but no. I think what's probably driving it is the multiple viewings. You know, I think you've got people, if you're doing sing-alongs, I think you got people going back again and again and again and bringing other people when they go back and having a good time. Like, probably go out, get your drink on, get to the theater, sing along, then go out again. So, Indie Phantom, like Barbie all over again, which means more of these flicks in the near future, even though last year's musical PS tanked. Well, the upshot is they made Gladiator, I guess, which I guess they thought was for men, which it kind of is. I don't know. It didn't look very good. Indie Phantom, Kinky Boots, LOL. Hopefully Wicked will eat up its audience and spare us all. It doesn't look that way. I would bank on this thing being in for at least 8 to 12 weeks. But there's nothing else out, so, I mean, theaters got to eat. Well, the theater doesn't eat, but the people got to eat. Ardent, to be fair, if you want me to see a musical, you better get me hammered first. Duly noted. Trust me, you don't have to be hammered to see Book of Mormon. It's very funny. So Gladiator 2 drops from 2 to 3, made $30 million, so it's not doing bad. For its second week, it only dropped by 44%. So that's got legs too. Not as much as, say, Wicked, but pretty good. JC, Gladiator 2 was woke shite. I don't know, I didn't see it. I had heard a couple of comments like that. How woke was it on a scale from 1 to 10, JC? On the scale of wokeness, 1 being, it had like a girl boss in it, sort of, and 10 being, wicked! Wicked meets Kinky Boots. I'll just ballpark it. It probably was like, what, around 5? I'm guessing. For Gladiator 2. Indie Phantom, yeah, JC. I don't trust Ridley Scott. He is woefully woke. I don't know if he's woke, but I think he likes money. That's the word I heard. I heard Ridley Scott just loves money. And that he's willing to do whatever he needs to make another movie. I mean, even Clint Eastwood tried to do a woke movie. He tried to do that movie Cry Macho. I think that was about as woke as Clint Eastwood could get. And it did look a little bit woke. I think it was, but I didn't see it yet. So, yeah, Gladiator 2, the problem with that for me is I gotta wait for that on streaming. I mean, you wait 20, 30 years for a sequel, you can wait for the streaming. JC, Gladiator 2's wife he was trying to avenge was a girl boss who died fighting alongside her husband in the opening battle. So, 3? 1 to 10. Give me a 1 to 10 on the woke scale. Number 4 is Red 1. Did it actually go up? It only dropped by 2%. 12.8 million. It's in its third week. 76 million. Can we get the totals on any of these flicks? Stupid website. Is everybody doing this stream? JC, I think that alone makes it an 8. Wow. Wow. That's not good. That's not good at all. Really, any woman fighting in ancient times that, is seriously doing it just doesn't look real. Just doesn't look real. Why would you do that? In Roman times? You telling me women are picking up the sword and swinging it around? Yeah. Right. Okay. Yeah. Sure. Right. Sure, Jan. Sure. Number 5. Up. What? Up from 6. That's crazy. Is the best Christmas pageant ever. Huh. Look at that. Well, that's something. That's something you don't see a lot of. It actually moved up a spot. And it's in its 4th week. 3.2 million. That's Judy Greer. She's pretty funny. She is so funny on Archer as Cheryl. I could see her carrying a movie. And she was great in Arrested Development. I don't know if you remember her in that. She looked amazing in that. That's when she was still super hot. And she played the secretary to the dad that he was having an affair with her, and she ends up stealing all the money. JC, once you have a chick strapping on a titty-fitty shape armor in your movie, it's time to stop and rethink things. Really? She straps on armor? Oh, boy. JC, did Judy Greer die? No. As far as I know, she didn't. That would have been news. LeMay, Russians had female snipers in trees and bombers. But that was when they were desperate. Yeah, and that's the Soviets. They were a bunch of commie idiots who believed that men and women were cogs in a machine. I better check on Judy Greer. Got me worried here, JC. See if there's any news. No, it's just an article about how she turned down Modern Family audition. Well, that wasn't good. But now that she's got a decent movie under her belt, that's good. She put out a country album as Cheryl from Archer. She did a cover of Eastbound and Down. JC, I was thinking of the mom from Archer. Oh no, you're yeah, that's oh god, she did die. Great actress. Oh, I forget her name now. Man, she was great in Archer. She's also the mom in Arrested Development. Kind of the same character, really. Oh gosh, I can't think of her name now. But man, she was good. She was very good. And her husband played her husband on Archer 2. His name was Ron Cadillac, and he died first, and then she died, I think, like a year or two later. Sad. Yeah, so but good on Judy Greer. Number 6, dropping from 4, Bonhoeffer, Pastor Spy Assassins from Angel Studio. Angel Studio still slowly creeping up there with various movies. 2.4 million. It's in its second week, dropped 52%. It's not national tragedy. It's almost legs. But for Angel Studios, that's pretty good because, I mean, it says the total gross is 9.7 million. I doubt that movie cost that. Because Angel Studios is up and coming. They're not going to blow money like the major studios, I think. Hanging on at 7 is Venom: The Last Dance, 2.2 million. It's in its 6th week. That's not bad for week 6. Still making millions. So that's another movie I could wait for streaming. I mean, all these movies I could wait for streaming. None of them scream like I got to go see this in the theaters. It's really hard. You'd have to put me in one of these movies to get me to see it, and I probably still wouldn't go. From dropping from 7 to 8 is Heretic with Hugh Grant, just shy of 1 million in its 4th week. I don't know. Hugh Grant it's a horror movie. Hugh Grant just doesn't seem scary, even in the movie. I mean, it seems mildly menacing, but it's weird. Number 9, dropping from 8, The Wild Robot. $670,000. That's in its 10th week, though. It's gone away. Then, moving up from 11 to 10, A Real Pain from Searchlight. $665,000. This is Jesse Eisenberg and Macaulay Culkin's brother. I forget his first name. It looked okay. Again, another movie I'd see on streaming. Dropping from 9 to 11 is Conclave. It's the one with Ralph Fiennes. It's the big Hollywood picking the Pope movie. Indie Phantom: Heretic will be something to stream, but not exciting. No. I have to stream, or I have to watch. I'm going on a podcast on Wednesday, and we're going to be talking about the 1973 movie Dracula, starring Louis Jourdan. It was produced by the BBC, and it looks like it was shot as a Doctor Who episode. It's brutal. I'm about 30 minutes in, and I'm already regretting it. It's 2.5 hours long, by the way. Ardent Kieran Culkin? Yeah, I think that's his name. Dropping from 10 to 12 is Smile 2. $438,000. Jack Posobiec saw it. He seemed to like it, I think. I think it probably just ups the ante of the first movie. It looks okay. I don't know. You really gotta sell me. Oh, excuse me. On a horror movie in the theater. That's always a stream for me. Indie Phantom, what podcast? I don't remember the name. I'll post it on Twitter. They're supposed to send me the deets tomorrow. I forget the name. Sorry. I know. I should know it, but I promised to do it a month ago, and then then they were like, oh yeah, you got to watch this movie, and I'm like, I don't have time to watch the movie. It was October. I was like, I have no time to watch movies. I said, we'll have to do this whenever. So they picked a movie that was on YouTube so I could watch it, I think. So I'm watching Dracula with Louis Jourdan. It's like a really long, boring version of the Gary Oldman movie. It takes, I'm a half hour in, and they're just to the part where, the Keanu Reeves character is going crazy in the castle. I'm just up to that. It's so boring. So boring. It's going to take me forever to watch it. So, I guess I'll do a review of it, but I'll do that after the podcast probably. 13 is Anora. So it's in its 7th week. I was kind of rooting for this movie simply because the actress on it was saying how intimacy coordinators are stupid, and I completely agree with her. And it's nice to see a young actress say that for a change, as opposed to being, oh my God, you touched me, I'm suing everybody. Because, when you're an actress and a romantic lead, you probably going to be touched by the leading actor. I'm just saying. I think you should expect to have a little touchy. Now, it doesn't have to get X-rated. I'm not saying that, but come on. You're playing a romantic lead. You're playing the girlfriend of somebody, and you're deeply in love. I think there's going to be some touching involved. That's the body language of two people in love. I mean, I don't know any other way to explain it. I mean, if you don't understand that, then I guess you've never been in love, and I pity you. Number 14 is Queer, starring Daniel Craig. It's only been in 7 theaters, so it's only done $188,000. So, you know, this is the bait and switch where they're next week they put it in 1,000 theaters and say, see how everybody's going crazy for Queer. I have zero interest in seeing Daniel Craig in this movie. I just, you know. Indie Phantom, Honora should hit the interwebs soonish. Yeah, it should go right into streaming. But yeah, they're really pushing the Daniel Craig movie hard. They want to have a bevy of Oscars for this thing. I can already tell. They want this to win a ton of Oscars. So, yeah, I have zero interest in watching James Bond do it, dude. Kite, TBF. You don't need scenes like that to show love, but Hollywood don't know that. They're just a small indie company. They don't know any better. LOL. JC, Queer? Is that based on the William S. Burroughs book? It absolutely is. So it's basically him. Indie Phantom? Yeah, Queer was... I can't believe how many times I've said that word. Yeah, Queer was from the William Burroughs book, but no interest. Yeah, back in the day, saying the queer word, that was considered very rude. Ah, you shouldn't call them that. They prefer gay. Now it's like, oh no, we're going back to that word. I'm like, okay, whatever. Who cares? So, yeah, they're making a gigantic deal about this movie, and it looks so boring. But, you know, it'll probably get 10 Oscars or whatever. Because, you know, that ought to show those James Bond fans. Yeah, see what we did to your hero? Now he's gay. All We Imagine Is Light. It's in its 3rd week. I didn't even see this in its 1st or 2nd week. No idea what this is. Now let's see if this will allow me to go to the page with the movie. Oh, there we go. All We Imagine As Light. Okay, so this is a foreign film. Probably did well in Bollywood. I read the book, says JEC. It's basically all about him effing underage prostitutes after he killed his wife. Wow. Jesus. That is harsh. I believe you. I just, yeah. JC, Junkie is better, William Burroughs book, than Queer. Yeah, I don't want to see that. I want to see that even less somehow. We Live in Time. That's the Andrew Garfield movie in its 8th week, going away. It did $24 million. That's not bad for a romance movie. It probably didn't cost them much to shoot. The Seed of the Sacred Fig. Okay. Just premiering in 3 theaters. And of course, now it's not coming up. I don't know what that is. Sounds vaguely religious. I guess we can go to the IMDb. Oh, there it is. The Seed of the Sacred Fig. Investigating Judge Ayman grapples with paranoia amid political unrest in Tehran. Oh. When his gun vanishes, he He suspects his wife and daughters imposing draconian measures that strain family ties as societal rules crumble. Okay. Seems like a weird title for a movie like that, doesn't it? JC, it's only got a 5.7 on the IMDb. It's probably not even getting any awards either. Are you talking about Queer? Let's see. Mm-hmm. I don't know. It's got 5 nominations already, if you're talking about that movie. Oops. Where's the IMDb score? Oh, here it is down here. No, it seems it's got higher reviews than that here. It's looking like 10 out of 10 here. Although that's the best review. How do you just see the review total on this? Well, I'll take your word for it. I'm sure it's somewhere on here. Yeah, I don't know. I just, even if you take out the gay stuff, like, how much of it can you see? I guess in a romance movie, JC, they're hiding the score. It's in the top corner of the page. Oh, yeah, there it is. 5.7. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it's pretty low. But then again, I've never seen too many movies on the IMDb over 8. So 8 seems to be really the top score, and then only the really, really bad movies get like anything less than kind of a 3 or a 2. But a lot of stuff, I mean, that's low, but it's not as low as it could be. But who knows? I don't trust any of these sites. I definitely don't trust Rotten Tomatoes, and I'm sure. Let's see what the Rotten Tomatoes score is. I bet it's high. I bet they're falling all over themselves on Rotten Tomatoes. Place your bets. Let's see. Nutcracker's got a 33%. Oh, they didn't like that. Hot Frosty got 85%. Are you kidding me? That movie's... All right, I'm going to have to search for it. Might not have a score yet. Here it is. 77 so far, with 92 reviews. JC, 6 is mid, below 6 is bad. So, yeah, 77 over Rotten Tomatoes. But, yeah, I really don't trust Rotten Tomatoes. 65% for Moana. This audience score, though, is 87%. Wicked's up there at 89 and 96. Night Bitch so far is at 64%. Terrifier at 73. Conclave's at 93%. Come on. And then Deadpool, of course, is at 79. You're going to tell me Conclave's a better movie than Deadpool and Wolverine? I don't think so. No, I don't think so. Jesus, this page still didn't load. There it is. The Sacred Fig, $55,000. Well, it's an Iranian movie. I'm not sure who wants to see it. JC, what's Night Bitch about? Amy Adams plays a woman who at night transforms into a dog. So it's kind of like the Shaggy DA for women. Or kind of like a werewolf movie for women. But it's, it all centers around her relationship and how turning into a dog frees her, and then I don't know. It's something about her finding herself again. I don't know. It looks stupid as F. JC, you lost me at Amy Adams. Yeah, and not hot Amy Adams, like frumpy, gained some weight Amy Adams. So, doesn't look good. Next up is Flow from Janus Films. Then Here is somehow still in 83 theaters. Oof. And premiering in 15 theaters, but somehow near the bottom of the heap is Heavier Trip. What the hell's this? Again, will it come up? No, of course not. I'm going to go right to the IMDb. Heavier Trip. There it is. Oh, looks kind of badass. Impaled Rectum. A band is in jail but must escape when their guitarist's father falls ill and their family home business faces demolition. They receive an offer to play a major festival but decline due to being imprisoned and unprepared. Okay. Ardent. It's an American Werewolf in London, but they put a chick in it and made it gay. Ardent. Lame and gay. JC. Not hot Amy Adams? So Amy Adams. Ardent. Yeah, I'm right there with you at JC. I never found her all that attractive. Storebang. Great. Guess I'll scrap my reverse werewolf idea. Fido the werebro. No, I think he could still do it. Especially if it's going to be funny. This movie looks funny. Kind of reminds me of Metalopolis. But I guess they eventually get out of prison to go play the festival. And then, I don't know. I'm guessing they do a lot of crazy stuff while they're out and then go back to prison at the end. Would be my guess. Amy Adams is mid, says JC. All right, let me see if I can find a hot picture of Amy Adams. All right. Let's see. Amy Adams, let's see. What is it? What's that movie? The Wedding Crashers. That's when she's hot. All right. That's the only picture. This is Amy Adams at her peak. Not too many pictures of her, though. She's hot in The Wedding Crashers, I thought. Yeah, can't find any pictures. Ardent. Reminds me of Airheads with Sandler and Buscemi and that other guy. Yeah, a little bit. Indie Phantom. Yeah, Amy Adams was never that hot. Oh man, I'm a man on an island with Amy Adams. LeMay. Was that Baby Metal in the trailer? I don't know what Baby Metal is. Maybe. JC. She's like Kristen Wiig in makeup. Now you're just being hurtful. I mean, Kristen Wiig, come on. Ardent. I'd rather Jane Seymour. Well, everybody would rather do Jane Seymour. She's amazing. Jane Seymour. Whew. She just... William Wallace is here. Needs garlic. What needs garlic? Amy Adams? Is she a vampire? William Wallace. And more cowbell. Cowbell. Ugh. I am logy from all the food I had. All right, yeah, so Heavier Trip. That appears to be something worth watching. I think I actually found a movie we could watch and enjoy. I think Heavier Trip, I think it's going to be a good movie. It sounds funny. Faster. Harder. Louder. It looks crazy. It definitely looks like a comedy. Yeah. Ardent at William Wallace. Always more cowbell. And then finally, the last movie is Porcelain War. I guess that's a movie about toilets. And the entire weekend box office is 271 million, which is way more. I think last week was definitely was over 100. What was last week? Last week was good too because that was a premiere of Wicked. But this week is even higher. I can't even get back to it. All right. But 2 weeks ago, yeah, here it is. Last week was 203. So this is 271. Ardent says Heavier Trip is already streaming 5 CDN to rent. YouTube. Oh. William Wallace. Smiley face. Okay, cool. Now I have to check that out. That seems worth a rental. So yeah, the box office is back, baby. The box office is back. Hollywood is back. But now it's going to be gayer than ever. JC, 271 million. Christmas is saved. Yeah. For a bunch of coked up movie executives it is. Not for the rest of us who want to see, I don't know, a comedy, an action movie, something men could go see. Ardent. $ CDN is Canadian pesos. Oh, boy. What are they worth now? Speaking of Canada, did you see Justin Trudeau go down the Mar-a-Lago? Oh, man, was that hilarious? William Wallace, a.k.a. Hey Anthony. Oh, okay. I remember you on Twitter. Caught you here because of your ex-post. First bump from the Big Apple. All right. Well, welcome. Welcome, Hey Anthony, William Wallace. Feel free to give me an upvote on the way out. Ardent, about 70 cents US dollar. Ooh. Used to be the other way around, wasn't it? For a while? Ardent. Yeah, he made a bunch of desperate promises to Trump. He sure did. I've never seen anybody who led a country who looked more desperate than Justin Trudeau. Oh, man. The pictures of him in Mar-a-Lago were, all of them made me laugh harder than his blackface. And that's tough. Indie Phantom, yeah, Trudeau at Mar-a-Lago. JC, if you make gay stuff for women, whatever, but just don't make action movies gay for women. Yeah, nobody wants to see them. William Wallace, no problem. JC, Canadian dollar is like $1.34. Kite, welcome in, William. Ardent, there was a brief time where our dollar was barely worth more than yours in the 2000s, I think. Yeah. That's when I went up to Canada. Yeah, when I go up there, then my money's worth less. Now that I'm not up there, my money's worth more. Now that you're almost fully communist. William Wallace, thank you, at Kite. All right, so that's the box office. And like JEC says, Christmas is saved. Surprisingly. Still kind of light on the amount of movies coming out. Could put a few more movies out here. You know? Gotta think. I mean, my theaters have like upwards of 12 to 15 screens. I gotta think a lot of them are doubling it up just to fill up the screens. JEC. The guy who was sitting on the other side of Trump in that one photo apparently is a big critic of Trudeau, apparently. Oh, is that kid in the background who was like waving his arms? That's funny. I mean, everything coming out of Mar-a-Lago and Trump now makes me smile every day. Except that recent pick. That one appointment. I didn't like him, but Kash Patel was another huge W. Kash Patel is going to run the FBI, hopefully right into the ground. And close up shop, but if he doesn't manage to do, I doubt he's going to do that. But I think there's a good shot he's going to arrest some people. Yeah, I think he's going to collect a few scalps. I think he should. I think there's been a lot of shenanigans going on in the FBI for a while now. It's about time somebody goes to jail, other than, say, people who just showed up to a protest. William Wallace. No, I heard he is for Justin's opposition. Uh-huh. That's Poliver. Poliver? Poliver. I hope you get him soon. I mean, even if he's a conservative globalist or whatever, at least you'll go back on track somewhat. Indie Phantom Cash should be in for Epstein and Diddy list. Yeah, he's saying that. I hope he delivers on it. Yeah, publishing the list. Ardent found a decent pic of Amy Adams. Okay, let's take a look. No, didn't come up. Didn't come up for me. Don't know why. The name seems right. Let me try to reload it. No. Your Canadian internet doesn't interface with my American browser, Ardent. Sad to say. JC, conservatives are literally 30 points ahead. Ardent, nah. Poliver is just a rhino in Canadian colors. Well, I think that's better. I think that's an improvement. William Wallace, affirmative. Piney man. Kite, LOL. Ardent, LOL. Ardent, LOL. Let me see if I can find a different link. It's Total Movies Wiki Fandom. Okay, let's see. Total Movies Wiki Fandom. Amy Adams. Okay, here we go. All right. Oh, yeah, all right. Yeah, that is a good picture. See, that's pretty hot. It's got boobage. Pierre, JC. Pierre is the Stephen Harper guy. Going back to the Harper years would be a huge improvement. I would think so. I mean, for here, it would kind of be the difference between, like, a Joe Biden and, say, you know, like a Reagan. Not Reagan, that's probably too far. Maybe Bush 1, something like that. Like, it wouldn't be a total fix, but, you know, be a fix. Is that the only picture of Amy Adams we got? Is that her? Can't tell. Well, that's her. Is that her, though? That kind of looks like her. Yeah, that's her. I mean, granted, guys, our standards have gone up way high ever since we started looking at pictures of Sydney Sweeney. So, Ardent, there you go. Indie Phantom, boobs good. JC, Photoshop to death. Flat-chested. Ah, you're so mean, JC. Ardent, at JC, Harper was a reform guy before the CPC merger. Poliver is just a Biden type, never been out of politics. Well, I think we could leave it on that one. Anyhow, let's see what's going on in the trades. Here's Moana, sales to record-breaking debut. Ardent, if you want to look at an actual trustworthy and actual conservative, look at Maxime Bernier from the PPC. William Wallace, big Jersey Devil fan. Oh, thanks. Any plans to do an upload with your unique and funky narrative? Maybe a teaser. Inquiring minds want to know. Well, you mean with the comics? Not sure what I'm going to do with the comics. I still have some. Still selling them. I had toyed with the idea of doing a book that would finally wrap up the story, but I haven't gotten around to doing it. I haven't started it. I thought about it, but I haven't started it because I kind of got to be in a different mindset to do the Jersey Devil, because it's kind of a more dreary, dark kind of character. And right now I'm in book 17 of the Pineys. Now I'm kind of on a deadline, and I have to get going with that. But thank you. So, being a Jersey Devil fan, you'll be excited to know that Joe Mulliner appears in book 16 of the Pineys, as does Peggy Clevenger and Jerry Mulholland, or Jerry Mono. All three are from the Jersey Devil comic book. And yes, they are the same characters. Alex Ogle, right. Hi, Alex. Right, you bleeders. Advert pitch. Jaguar cars, camera swings around, Sydney Sweeney in a bikini until it finishes pointing just over her boobs, side shot to a Jaguar. I like it. Ardent. Anyway, enough politics. Or politics. Alex, with a Brit at the wheel who drops his monocle and exclaims in his best Leslie Phillips voice, "I say, ding dong." She leaps into a Gurr seat. The engine revs and takes off in a puff of tear smoke. Arden says hi. JC at Arden. He was in the business before politics. He had the largest net worth of anyone who entered Parliament. Wasn't born rich. He was adopted and raised middle class. Alex Ogle leaps into the passenger seat. Alex Ogle. The engine revs and the car takes off. Something wrong with the wireless of this keyboard. Oh, your batteries may be dying. Yeah, I used to have a wireless keyboard. I thought it was cool too. And then I had to keep putting the batteries in it. William Wallace. Big on the Mothman as well. I can't wait to check them out. Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, the Pineys is where I'm doing a lot of that stuff. And I may eventually bring JD into the Pineys. If you want to read a story with JD in it, he is in the sequel to Lester Crenshaw is Dead, which you can read on the Webcomic Factory website. It's a sequel to Lester Crenshaw is Dead, a graphic novel, which is called Lester Crenshaw is Still Dead. And the main character is a comic geek who gets turned into a vampire. So the first book is about him getting turned into a vampire, and his stepmom and his sister have to help him. And then the second book involves JD and a ghost and a bunch of creepy stuff. Those two graphic novels came out so good, and it's a shame the artist he's out of comics now because his health started to fail him a bit, and he couldn't do it anymore. It's a shame. Alex, please tell me Moana 2 isn't going to be woke nonsense that does well and convinces Disney there's still mileage in that crap. Oh no, we already got Wicked for that. Apparently Wicked is full of woke nonsense. Moana, I think, is probably pretty woke too. I mean, it's another girl boss. So, but it's kind of slightly different because it's aimed at kids, although Wicked is aimed at kids. But like Wicked's super woke. Like Wicked is like adding like queer stuff, and oh my god, they're going on and on about it. And the two leads couldn't be weirder on their press junket. Storebang. Then Terry Thomas rolls up in Rolls Royce and says, "What ho?" Alex Ogle. Tyree, the correct way Brits spell those rubber hoops on the shields. I think you mean wheels. The rubber hoops. Do you mean hubcaps? William Wallace. Totally captivating. I'm there soon, I promise. Fist bump to Tony D. Fist bump to you, William. Kite. I don't want to lie to you, Alex, so I won't tell you that isn't going to happen. Ardent. At JC. Last point of politics. I have a look at Prevere's Wikipedia entry. I don't know if I trust Wikipedia. I mean, seriously. In the Phantom, Wicked is all about the patriarchy and how the witch is not bad. Men are. Oh, right. Alex Ogle. Tyrese equals tires. Oh. Now I understand. Ardent. LOL. Loving this, Alex. Keep screwing with it. Ardent. Americans and Englishmen separated by a common language. Yeah, here it is again. Wicked star Marissa Bodie condemns aggressive and very gross comments about Nessa Rose's disability. It's low-hanging fruit. That's too many. I mean, like, can you complain more about a hit movie? Okay, you put a woman in a wheelchair in it. Who cares? Nobody's making fun of this. I call BS on this. I think these are shills planted by the studio in order to gin up some sympathy for you people. Ardent. At JC at Ardent, that's where I got all this info from. LOL. At JC, oh, I guess I didn't read far enough. LeMay, Wicked story is fan fiction of the original. The Wizard of Oz was already progressive for its time. It was written by a man married to a woman suffragette. I don't know. It just, back in the 90s and 2000s, they cranked out a bunch of Wizard of Oz related comic books. I guess it must have went into the public domain or something. So there's all kinds of crazy badass comic books about Oz, running around Oz and shooting people and stuff, and the Tin Man being a tank and all kinds of crazy stuff. This just sounds like, I don't know. It sounds like every other musical theater thing ever. It's always the same stuff. Look at this cast. You could just, if you just got rid of the green check, you could say this was any other musical, and I'd believe you, because who the hell could tell one from the other? It's all the same stuff. It's boring. It's boring and stupid. There, I said it. William Wallace, what are your thoughts on the mud flood, if any? Just wondering about your take. Oh, you mean the flood that what's her name, Ellen DeGeneres had at her new estate? I think it's pretty funny that she moves from America to get away from Donald Trump, and like their first day in England, her whole estate floods. I guess that's what you're talking about. I don't know. Indie Phantom, are there just using controversy as a springboard again? I think so. Maybe they expected this movie to fail, and this was their like backup plan. We'll just have a bunch of controversy. Ardent, still at Indie Phantom. Alex, I watched a recent Jimmy Carr Netflix special with my friends last night. His wife did not appreciate it. Mind you, she's Italian and doesn't understand that pineapple belongs on pizza. Damn you! Damn you, Alex! Indie Phantom, I don't like Michelle Yeoh. There, I said it. Well, I liked her when she was doing Kung Fu. I don't know what this is. I don't know why she's even in this movie. LeMay, the Land of Oz was ruled by powerful women, both good and evil. Oz was a loser who was replaced by the rightful ruler of Oz, Princess Ozma. Oh, okay. I don't remember that. Didn't read the original book, I don't think. William Wallace, no, LOL. Indie Phantom, Ellen can't move far enough away. Kite, that flood was an accident. I had nothing to do with it in any way. That's exactly what an innocent person will say, Kite. It's good you said it. Let's see. All right, we looked at this. Oh, wait, this isn't the front page. Okay. Oh, here's a great article. I thought this was kind of insightful. Is Hollywood's addiction to sequels cannibalizing its future? Yes. Yes, that's exactly what it's doing. I mean, you don't have to read the article to get it. JC, looking at his wiki right now, it's about 10 times longer than when I read it when he was running for conservative leader. Looks like they've downplayed what he did in the private sector for political stuff. Yeah, I wouldn't trust Wikipedia. Either way. Ardent at JEC. Yeah, I was referencing my memory, so Indie Phantom. I was watching The Groove Tube earlier. I remember that movie. A pre-Kentucky Fried Movie sketch comedy flick from the same team, non-woke. Yeah, I think Richard Belzer's in that, right? I'm almost sure. I saw Richard Belzer when I was in New York once. I was at my friend's wedding, I think. And he had it in a very odd place. It was where him and his wife met. Is this bar called the Boathouse. And it was super open to the public, which was weird to have a wedding that was super open to the public. So people were coming in and out while the wedding was going on. Or while the reception was going on, I should say. But anyhow, Richard Belzer just walked by and there he was. I didn't talk to him, but I saw him. Alex at Kite. Better tidy up those hose pipe behind you. Indie Phantom. LOL. These articles state the obvious and what people were saying for years. Yeah. Ardent. Tony. Heard about the orcas with the salmon hat trend. I think that's why Hollywood keeps refusing to be original. They just remember fads from the other whale pods. Indie Phantom. Yeah, Richard Belzer and Chevy Chase are in it. Yes. I think that was... Isn't that pre... I think that's pre-Saturday Night Live. And, yeah. So this was sort of a prototype for what SNL would be. You know, when it was cool. Back in 75. And it was cool in 75, let me tell you. So that, yeah, there it is there. LeMay, Wicked tried to make The Wizard of Oz more progressive, but fails. They took two powerful queens and made them suppressed by a man to cry about the patriarchy. It sounds terrible. Ardent. Belzer's pretty funny. Saw him on an episode of The Green Room with Paul Provenza. LOL looks a little spoofy of 2001 there. Yes. Yeah, that's not long after 2001 came out. So that was still in people's brain. That was back when there was a lot of stuff like you could parody stuff a lot easier because everybody saw it. So, for instance, in the original Saturday Night Live, they did a parody of a ketchup commercial that used a famous song. But it really worked because everybody saw that ketchup commercial because everybody had watched the same commercial because we only had 3 channels. And it was a hit song that was in the commercial. And so, like, it all came together. Now, like... you could parody commercials all day. I probably wouldn't get half of them because I don't see them. Who watches TV? About the only thing you could parody that would be almost universal would be like something like the Joe Rogan show, right? Because so many people watch that. William Wallace, bring back the 80s when the cars were fast, but the women were faster. LOL. Yes. Oh, I went back to the wrong page. Ardent, or the 90s when the cars were sexy and the women didn't have pit. Never mind. Yes. A lot of people dying. Holy crap. So Wayne Northrup, Days of Our Lives, Dynasty actor, dies at 77. Marshall Brickman dies. He won an Oscar for writing Annie Hall alongside Woody Allen. He was 85. Jesus. And there were like 3 yesterday that I did. One of which was the voice of the Baroness from G.I. Joe, if you remember her. I used to like that. I used to like that one character. I didn't really like the G.I. Joe cartoon, but I did like the Baroness character because she was hot. Indie Phantom. Yeah, the commercials were old, but I remember them from childhood. Ardent. Oh, speaking of dead people, it's Richard Pryor's birthday today. Yes, it is. I saw that on Twitter. He won the first Mark Twain Prize for comedy. Which, comedy awards are stupid, I think, but President Joe Biden pardons son Hunter Biden. How can you pardon him? Well, he wasn't convicted of anything. Has he been convicted of anything? Oh my God. He still waited. He still should have waited another month, I think. He should have waited till January. Oh, I'm getting text. Wow. So this just dropped 8 minutes ago. So breaking news. Breaking news here on Hollywoke Hot Take. President Joe Biden pardons son Hunter Biden, who went right out and got himself a crack ball of 8, or an 8 ball of crack to smoke to celebrate, I'm imagining. LeMay, LOL, Ardent, I think they got him for the handgun charges. Oh, right, maybe. I mean, I didn't think that was a done deal yet. They were talking about it. I didn't think he actually had charged him. I mean, they charged him, but I didn't think it was actually over yet. Kite, he preempted actual prosecution. That's what it seems like. Because to pardon someone, don't you have to be convicted? Don't you have to be completely convicted? I thought you did. Like, you have to be convicted and on your way to jail, basically. Or in jail. I mean, obviously Hunter wasn't going to jail. I mean, he wasn't going to let his son. I mean, no father was ever going to let that happen. Even if he had murdered half his family, he was going to let him rot in jail. So, but, I didn't think he was actually convicted, but that's probably going to be the top news story tomorrow. Every YouTuber, you know who will explain it to me? Is Sticks and Hammer. He usually explains it pretty well. Kite, oh my God. Sorry. Oh my God. Sorry, I thought I was done with all that. Kite. Now, color me normal, but I feel despite pardoning powers, a president shouldn't be allowed to pardon direct family. Yeah, but then, I mean, you'd think, but he'd find a way to do it anyway. That's the problem with it. Even if you said, okay, he can't pardon his son, do you think he would have ever gotten a trial? No. No, he would have found another way to derail it. If he had to fire every judge between here and the court that was prosecuting him, he'd do it. He'd find some way to do it. So you might as well give him that power. But the thing is, he should be impeached. He should be impeached for doing that. They should impeach him right now. But they won't. So the checks and balances are this. Congress provides the check on the president. And to some extent the judiciary, but the Congress could impeach him. They could try him, they could have a big holding, they could have a vote. If you had the votes, you could impeach him, and then the Senate would try him. But they're not going to do that because they're assholes. William Wallace. But does that cover every illegal thing numbnuts has ever done? I don't think so. Accountability is coming, hopefully on all swamp rats. I wouldn't expect them to go after Hunter. Unless, the one exception I'll say is this. The one thing Hunter did, and I know he did it, because I think we all know he did it, is Hunter ran this scam where he's selling paintings, and then the money was funneled into the Biden family. I think that could come back to bite him in the ass. But they could wait until his father dies and then get him. Because, but the thing is, he probably paid the taxes on it. See, like, if he didn't pay the taxes on it, they'd get him in 10 seconds. But I think he paid the taxes on it, and they kind of don't care. But we'll see. Kite, we'd have to ask Trump, then he'd be liable for that come next admin too. Okay, I have no idea what impeachment does, especially this late. William Wallace, money laundering. Yeah, maybe they could get him on that. It was a lot of money, and it was a bribe, I believe. But I think that's sort of low on the list. I think that's one of the reasons Biden screwed everything up was so, Trump is, he hopes Trump is going to be tied up for his entire term trying to keep America out of World War III and keep the economy afloat. And he won't have time to go after someone like him or Hunter because it would be a big undertaking. Kite, can you imagine Ashley Biden working with Trump appointed judges to get Hunter for the shower scene? No. No, I cannot, unfortunately. I'd like to think that could happen. I'd like to think someone in the Biden family would say, enough. But they're too rich. They're just too rich. What I think's going to happen is the moment Biden's out of office, they're going to put him in his mansion and they're going to cut off his meds and he's going to go insane. And you're not going to see him until he's dead. Then he'll die because he's super old, but he's half checked out already. So he's going to be puttering around in his mansion and probably out of his mind, off his meds, and they'll just let him die. So if they come to Joe Biden's estate and say, oh, we're going to charge Joe Biden, they'll say he's not competent to stand trial. They already said that. Actually. Do you remember that? When they were investigating the Bidens, and then they said, oh, well, Joe Biden's not competent to stand trial. Oh, but he's president. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense, but this is the way they operate. It's not what's real, it's what they can get away with plausible deniability. So it doesn't make any sense, but it's plausible to a certain degree. Kite, wait, it was Ashley, right? It was some kid tied to the family. Yeah, it was Ashley Biden had a diary that she left behind at a Airbnb or something. Somebody else found it and got caught trying to sell it, which shouldn't have been illegal because Ashley left it behind. It wasn't her property anymore. If you leave something behind in a hotel, you've essentially abandoned it. You've abandoned ownership of it, even if you didn't mean to. But again, the Bidens were in control, so this person got arrested for trying to sell the diary. But the diary acknowledged that she took an inappropriate shower with her dad, Joe Biden, at some point late in her childhood. They showered together, and she felt it was inappropriate and talked about it with her therapist. Now, the question is, did it actually happen? Because sometimes people in therapy remember things that didn't happen. So maybe it didn't happen at all. Maybe she just wrote it in a diary. But 100% it's her diary because the Bidens asked for it back. And they used the law to get it back. I don't know if they ever got it back. I think they did. But excerpts of the diary are all over the internet if you want to see it. But what's going to happen is Biden's going to die, and then everybody's going to come out of the woodwork to say what a monster he was. Because then it'll be okay. Because he'll be dead. And then when you go to look at the families, oh, you didn't say any of this stuff. They'll all be like, oh, well, oh, now I'm going to write a book about how awful my dad was. My Awful Dad by Hunter Biden. My Awful Husband by Jill Biden. My Awful Dad by Ashley Biden. They'll all try to cash in on it. In my estimation. William Wallace. They should just expose everything and watch them all go into meltdowns over it and then point and laugh. Yeah, I would love to see it. I don't think you're going to get it for various reasons. Because, again, it's a swamp. So, although Trump is trying hard to push it back, there's certain members of the swamp that, they're gonna say, no, I'm not exposing that because, Biden has some dirt on me. And if you exposed him, he's called me up already and said, if you let this come out, I'm going to expose you. That's the way all this blackmail stuff works up on the Hill and in the imperial capital, as it were. Everybody's got dirt on everybody else. And I think the Clintons have dirt on everybody, so look out. Uh, um, so if they don't want... Now, it could be that the Bidens are alone after Biden dies, and that's my theory. My theory is like Joe Biden is actually... Part of the reason his power isn't as good as, say, the Obamas and the Clintons is because Joe's the only political figure in the family. Hunter's not a political figure. Jill's not a political figure. But Beau Biden, his number one son, was the senator in Delaware. But then he went into the Iraq War because he was teeing himself up to be president. But that's where he got exposed to depleted uranium, got brain cancer, and died. That wasn't supposed to happen. If that hadn't happened, I promise you, Joe Biden would not be in Washington right now. It would be Beau Biden. It would have been Beau Biden who would have run for president. And I don't know if he would have lost. Now, it would have been a different world with a Beau Biden presidency. He probably wouldn't have been as bad as his dad. I don't know. Maybe he would have. Maybe it would have been exactly the same, only younger and more coherent. But who knows? He was teeing his son up to be president. But then he died. And all he was left with was Hunter, the whoremonger coke addict, who also paints for some reason. And that's my opinion. So the Bidens are done as a political force the moment Joe dies. Now, there's people tied to him that don't want him exposed yet, but once he dies, I don't think they'll have any investment in him. Unless Jill Biden has stuff on people and wants to keep that ball in the air, but what does she care? She could do the same thing. She can write a book. What does Hunter care? He'll write a book. They'll all get rich. They're all super rich. You know? If they go out of power... You know, the Bidens are living in a friggin' mansion that used to be owned by Alexander Haig, and that is a replica of the White House. I think it's worth about $16 million. I don't know if they actually own it, or they're just sort of like, you know, they bought it and they're paying the mortgage, but the moment they're out of power, they'll get rid of it. So they'll sell it, but, you know, maybe they're selling it now to get out of it because... You know, you've got all these scammy real estate deals with these guys, like Mark Rubio, as exposed by Trump in that commercial, got one of his donors to buy his house at like double the rate. So the same thing will happen to Biden because he's still in the mix as long as he's alive. But the moment he's dead, that's it. The money spigot goes right off for the Bidens. And who's going to help them? No one. No one in Washington gives a rat's dropping about the Bidens after that. There'd be no reason to. Why are you going to stick your neck out for Hunter? You know, he's not your kid. If anything, you want to throw him under the bus and show everybody, oh, no, we'll prosecute one of our own. Yeah, no, Biden should have prosecuted his son. He was dishonest. I understand why he didn't, but I'll do it. Yeah, these people eat each other alive. Anyhow. Sorry, I went on a rant. William Wallace. They should... Oh, I read that one. Kite. I meant the videos with the Hunter on camera with the young kid while he was naked. Yeah, I don't think that's going anywhere. I don't think anybody cares. Quite frankly. The people who should care would be in the Biden family. Somebody... And again, I think one of them will write a book about it. Oh yeah, Hunter, like, you know, he was naked with my kid and he did inappropriate things and he was having, you know, smoking crack and having sex with prostitutes in front of my kid. They'll all put it in a book for you to read and pay for. But will they have him arrested? No. And he'll die soon. He's another guy who's going to die. I mean, the guy smoked crack for how many years? A lot of crack. That stuff doesn't just, go inside your body. Oh, I stopped doing it. Now I'm fine. No, no, no. That takes years off your life. He'll drop dead. He'll be lucky to make 60, I think. Or 65. Ardent, another reason Trudeau got on a plane in a hurry is that he's on another flight log. A lot. William Wallace, Doge is on it. I hope so. JC, Bo probably would have been worse. God spared us. Praise God. I don't know. Because he would have been younger, Bo might have had the sensibility to, like, not take it as far as his dad did. Like, I think his dad just doesn't give an F. I think he's old. He doesn't care. All he has left is his money and power, and that is it. I mean, he's, he already got his trophy wife, right? His wife died in a mysterious car accident. And then he got his wife. He got his hot trophy wife, way younger. And I'm sure God knows how many girls he's banged on the side. Who knows? But, the guy's ancient now. What are you going to do? You're going to take Viagra and bang some young chick? Probably doesn't even want to do it anymore. Probably just wants to die. But I think he's a bitter, mean old man who's got nothing left in his life. He's probably, kicking himself every day. Why did it have to be? Why did Hunter live and Bo die? Right? Because, that's probably the way it is. Ardent, Jill was the family's babysitter. Yeah, young hot babysitter. JC, Bo was as big as a degenerate as Hunter, but he was higher functioning degenerate. They could have blackmailed him into whatever they wanted. I don't know. I haven't seen any. You've seen stuff on Bo? I haven't seen stuff on Bo. I mean, I've definitely seen stuff on Hunter. I've seen way too much on Hunter. Hunter had his own porn channel, I think. Didn't he have a Pornhub thing? Or was that a joke? I don't know. It's hard to tell the difference on the internet. Sometimes. I don't know. I don't know if Bo was a degenerate. I mean, he did sign up and go to Iraq. So, he did that. Now, you could say, well, he thought he'd be safe, but he still got exposed to depleted uranium and got brain cancer. So, he took some risk, obviously, and it didn't pay off. But anyhow, getting back to the important things, movies. JC, yeah, Hunter is on Pornhub. His videos suck. I couldn't even get a boner watching Hunter's porn. All right, moving on to Fandom Pulse. Let's see. Star Trek is now going to do a live-action version of Lower Decks. So, hilarious Star Trek, everyone. JC, Bo went to Iraq to run money for his dad like Hunter in Ukraine. Yeah, but he was actually in the military. I mean, he was actually, I forget what rank he was. I don't know, he didn't seem like a drug addict. I mean, at least that much. But who knows? I haven't seen any evidence against Bo, but you might be right. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree. I'm sure he's banging every chick he could. But yeah, this Star Trek comedy show, not good. Not good in my view. These people, these woke people, they can't do comedy. It's beyond them. They do about as comedy as well as the left memes. And they're terrible at it. And the ironic thing is the left used to be, in charge of comedy. It's crazy. Ardent, there was a Lower Decks crossover to Strange New Worlds. It sucked and destroyed my interest in animated Trek. Well, I don't know what to tell you other than don't watch Star Trek anymore. It's OG or nothing for me, and Deep Space Nine. And that's it. Yeah, Next Generation. Nah, I wouldn't rewatch that. OG stuff I could watch all day. If you got an episode of Deep Space Nine, maybe. But it's OG or nothing, really. Or the Star Trek cartoon, the original Star Trek cartoon. JC, the evidence is long gone. It's been 15 years. I'm just going by the fact the whole family is effed. I mean, you could be very well right, but there hasn't been any scandal that I'm aware of with him. So it's possible he just didn't have a scandal. That he's not a degenerate, but, you know, he covers for his family. Let's see. The rise of the antibiotic resistant creator. How based creators survive and thrive despite mainstream gatekeeping. From JDA. And Hans G. Skange? He's got a lot of... JDA has a lot of contributors now on the Fandom Pulse. Ardent. Yeah, I finished Discovery the other day. Curse my completionist tendencies. Ooh. I hope you're okay. Indie Phantom. SNL shows the steady decline of leftist humor. Yeah, and I bailed from Saturday Night Live. Gosh. I was really harsh on SNL in the 80s, but I sort of suffered through it. But looking back on it, I miss those days. And then in the 90s, man, I just couldn't believe what I was even seeing. And by the 2000s, I was out. But the shows now compared to them, holy F. Alex Ogle, TV pitch, Lower Decks. Sydney Sweeney in a very short Star Trek uniform is filmed from the neck down in a series of intergalactic situations involving a lot of jumping up and down. Change the name and you got a deal. You could call it, I don't know, Lower Thighs. Ardent, I'm good. Watch the first Iron Man movie to get a palate cleanser. Oh, good. Avowed art director wants supporters of Donald Trump to feel the sting of shame for the rest of their putrid lives. Can you believe these people work in video games? Like, back in the day, a guy who worked in video games was a guy who, he was a computer nerd, he got high a lot, you know, he drank Mountain Dew, ate Doritos and M&Ms, and did nothing but play video games all day. And I wouldn't say he was based, but he didn't sound like this guy. Like, politics? These guys didn't used to care about politics. Now they can't stop talking about politics. It's annoying. These guys, they just don't get it. They think they're doing a cool thing by talking about politics, but man, are they on the wrong side of history. Ardent. Oh, and I watched Abigail last night. Way too predictable. Abigail? What the hell's Abigail? Alex Ogle. Leftist British comedian Alexei Sale summed up left-wing comedy saying it was just like normal comedy, except it's not funny. Alex. William Wallace. I stepped away. What did you think about Star Trek Enterprise? I dug it. I couldn't get into it. I really hated the theme song. I know, that's petty. But here's my story. So, I watched OG, of course. Next Gen, I watched. I suffered through that first season. Bailed and then came back to it. Deep Space Nine, I watched the whole run. Then, for some reason, me and my friends decided to watch Star Trek Voyager. And at first, we thought it would be pretty good. And then we just made fun of it. And it became our regular weekly thing. And we never missed an episode. We watched every single episode. And then we decided, all right, we're going to start watching Star Trek Enterprise. And I watched the first episode and I went, I'm out. I hated the theme song. It just looked terrible. I just couldn't get into it. I said, no. I said, we got to pick a different show. And we never did. Ardent. Little girl vampire kidnapping movie. Abigail. Is that the one, like, Let the Right One In? Is it that one? Or is it, oh, wait. That's the one where she's the ballerina, right? Oh, yeah. Was that any good? That looked cool. Dead by Daylight developer allegedly forcing employees to undergo Wheel of Privilege DEI training Let me see if they have the picture. Oh, yeah, they have the picture here. So here's the Wheel of Privilege, everyone. Let's see. Alex Ogle. The theme tune is integral to setting up the program. Getting that wrong is key to showing the creators don't care. It's why Matt Berry loved the theme tunes by Ronnie Hazelhurst so much. Matt Berry is a genius, and I do not use that word lightly. William Wallace, give it another shot. You can thank me later. LOL. Alex Ogle, Berry's theme tune to Snuffbox even made an appearance in Dread with Carl Urban. It did? Oh, neat. Yeah, Snuffbox. I've seen clips of that. That show's friggin' funny. Where Matt Berry is helping women on the street, carry stuff until he finds out they have a boyfriend, and then he just drops their stuff and walks away, pissed off. Ardent. Enterprise's best episode were the Andorians and Mirror Universe ones. Yes, Ballerina, it was. Okay, well shot, decent writing, but predictable, says Ardent. William Wallace. Love them. JC. Doubles as a color wheel. You can teach people color theory with it at least. Yeah, I can't read everything on it, but I mean, if you showed me this thing, I'd be like, this is a joke, right? I mean, I can't imagine. And look at this guy on the right here. What is this guy? Who's this guy on the right? What's he for? Little cartoon dude. Oh, my God. Teaches that black people and fat people are oppressed. Uh-huh. Okay. Oh, here's another Wheel of Privilege. Can we see this one? Oh, this one's a little... You can read this one. So, wealth, language, gender, citizenship, skin color, formal education, ability, sexuality, neurodiversity, mental health, body size. Oh, my God. Housing. So the closer you are to the middle, the more power privilege you have. Jesus. Imagine going into work and seeing somebody show you this and they're totally 100% serious. I'd be losing my damn mind. I'd be like, what has happened to my job? This is ridiculous. Oh, you're privileged. You're privileged. No, this is retarded. And then I'd be fired. Ardent. Legend has it that if you read the entirety of the Wheel of Privilege, you become 20% soy and vegan. Oh, no. I better stop reading. William Wallace. Wheel of Marxist Doctrine. Yeah, there you go. 100%. Ardent. Indeed. Alex Ogle. My favorite is with the tray of drinks at the bar, and if you could just hand one to my boyfriend, crash, F you. Whiskey. Yeah, he just does amazing takes. Pop culture expert neurotic question: how's Doctor Who hasn't been canceled ahead of its Christmas special? As do I. How is this show still on the air? The answer is the BBC. They're the government. Essentially, the television station is run by the government. So it's a government television station. I can only imagine what a government television station would be like in the United States. Probably no TV shows on it. Probably be just boring, informative stuff and probably shaming people on air for breaking the law. I imagine it would be like that. Ardent, so say we all. Here was another crazy story this week. Chaosium turns Call of Cthulhu RPG and LGBTQ propaganda. New Cthulhu by Gaslight Investigator's Guidebook. Ardent, LOL, so CNN. Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, the Call of Cthulhu RPG is based on H.P. Lovecraft's books. So it's a horror RPG, and I played the game back in the day, and 50% of your characters go insane. The other 50% just die in horrible, horrible ways. Like, you burn through characters in Call of Cthulhu. Like, there's no sense of just having one. You should make 2 characters. If you ever play Call of Cthulhu, my advice to you is to roll up at least 2 or 3 characters and have them ready, and have the GM just, the moment one of your characters dies, you could just start with the new guy. Because it's that bad. It's really easy to die in that game. But the trick is, I'll tell you the secret. The trick is you can't go insane, and the trick to not go insane is not to read any of the books. Yeah, that theme sound familiar? Yeah, so never read the books in Call of Cthulhu. So I had a guy who was his name was Terrence Golden, and the idea was he was the heir to the Golden Mustard's fortune, and but he was a fisherman and like a country boy, and he didn't need no book learning. So whenever he found a book, he burned it. Because that was the way I could keep Terrence from going insane. And the character lasted a long time. He didn't die. He never died. I never played, I only played a few games with Terrence before like the campaign ended, but he stayed alive. Indie Phantom. Is PBS basically the same? Kind of, but like PBS isn't run by the government, I would say. It's kind of financed by the government, but there were rules put in place that were supposed to make it non-partisan. PBS is supposed to be nonpartisan, just like NPR is supposed to be nonpartisan. So at least initially, those channels focused on things like jazz and classical music and opera and things like that, because they knew the general public probably wouldn't finance that stuff on their own, and it was sort of like a thing, well, we know this is good for the general public and it's good for art, so we'll use, they had good intentions when they created it. But of course, over the years, because it was so liberal dominated, now that the liberals have lost their damn minds, it became completely politicized, and now it has to go. But like with the BBC, I don't think they had any rules like that. Although, again, it wasn't as political years ago, as my understanding. It was just boring. So I guess you could say, yeah, it's kind of the same, except the BBC was the channel. Like the CBC is kind of a big channel. It was a lot bigger, but whereas PBS was always sort of like a nothing channel here. Very only like intellectuals watched PBS back in the day, and people who were eventually Doctor Who fans. And what else did they show on? They used to show the Three Stooges. JC, they put gaslighting in the title, LOL. Ardent, LOL, does Lovecraft's cat show up? William Wallace, sounds like Kamala supporters. Yes. Ardent, if you don't know the cat's name, it rhymes with Trigger Man. Yeah, I know the cat's name. JC, make a character who is mid-century German, so he just burns all the books. Ardent, at JC, usually set before mid-century, but good hack. Ardent, CBC has more employees than viewers these days, so yeah, it's like the BBC. Yeah, and the Lord of the Rings, the War of Rohirrim. Rohirrim? Sounds like it's DOA. All right, jumping over to Hollywood Reporter, more on Moana. Let's see. For some reason, they're talking about this new Ted Danson show. Ted Danson's in a new show. He's 76, by the way. He looks good for 76. But he's in this new show called A Man on the Inside, which is about Ted Danson plays a retired guy who goes in undercover to a nursing home to expose some nefarious deeds. So it's like I think it's kind of like not only Murders in the Building. They're like trying to spin off old guys in the shows and make it plausible. Ardent Rohirrim. Oh, yeah, because it's a girl boss. JC, Pierre wants to defund the CBC because his wife used to work there and they effed with her when they found out she was dating him. Well, kind of can't blame him. I mean, he should defund it anyway, but sort of a petty thing to do. Let's see. Gladiator 2, producers on returning to ancient Rome. We didn't want to be a pale imitation. That's exactly how people described this movie to me, like at least twice. It's kind of a pale imitation of the first movie. Deadpool and Wolverine script had a Mickey Mouse joke about his junk. They cut. Bob Iger asked it to be cut. Cobra Kai is still... are they still shooting that? I thought it was over. Didn't it end? I think they're spinning it into a movie now. JC, I'm excited for him to defund them. I always hated them. Just turned out the most boring shite you've ever seen or heard. Ardent, LOL, didn't want to be a pale imitation, and boy did they underachieve. Dennis Villeneuve explains that his Star Wars disinterest, it all derailed in 1983. Well, you can't argue with the man. I think he's on point. Yeah, you can tell me all you want about Rogue One. Not interested. 83, it was over. We complained about Return of the Jedi. Yeah, we complained a lot about it, actually. Yeah, friggin' teddy bears running around. Yeah, we complained about that. I mean... So, it was over. All right, over at Bounding in the Comics, James Gunn stands by the casting of Kyle Chandler as Hal Jordan in Lanterns. I think he looks like Hal. I think he'd be perfectly fine for the role. I think the problem is he's got Damon Lindelof working on this show. Damon Lindelof, to me, is the antichrist of screenwriters. He shouldn't be working in anything. He should retire. He's the guy who co-created Lost. And he did a bunch of other shows that I think nobody watched. Ardent, CBC used to be really good. Wayne and Schuster. Codco. Hell, even This Hour has 22 minutes. Was good initially. You've named a bunch of things. I have no idea what you're talking about. That's all Canadian stuff. Like, sometimes looking over at Canada is like looking into an alternate universe for me. Like, you've named these shows, and in the context of you naming them, they sound like I should know them, like they're famous enough that I would know them, but only Canadians would know them. So it's very funny to me that you rattle them off, and I'm just sitting here going like, yeah, that's like some alternate timeline where I didn't exist. In the Phantom, definitely complained about Return of the Jedi. JC, Kids in the Hall was CBC. They were okay. Squish your head. Let's see. What else? James Gunn reassures fans the Batman Part 2 is not being canceled. Who the hell thought that was being canceled? Ardent, you should look up Wayne and Schuster. They were amazingly funny. JC, This Hour has 22 minutes. Was like a Canadian daily show. William Wallace, it's like a portal window out of Fringe. Yeah. I went up to Montreal with my friend who's Canadian, and he knew his way around, and we got poutine and drove around. It's just weird. It's weird seeing signs in French. Canada's just weird to me. Ardent, LOL, WW. Let's see. Warner Brothers Discovery is unhappy with the Superman trailer. That doesn't bode well. Or is it that Warner Brothers doesn't know what the F they're doing and we should ignore them? And they should just listen to James Gunn? I mean, at this point, I think they should just listen to James Gunn. It's not like they've done any better. But that doesn't bode well. William Wallace. Ha ha ha. Here's something. Filmmaking legend Martin Scorsese gives a positive endorsement of I Saw the TV Glow. It really was emotionally and psychologically powerful and very moving. This is a movie that I believe is about trans people, or it's got an allegory for trans in it. So I was kind of surprised he said that. Indie Phantom. As a Canadian, I didn't watch CBC once when we got cable. Okay. Checking over Deadline. Ardent. That wasn't real Canada, Tony. You need to get out to the Maritimes or the prairies. Those areas are way more representative of what Canada's about. Okay. I went to Toronto. I dated a girl from Toronto. Well, she didn't live there. She was going to college there. Oh, I was so in love with her. She was funny, and she smoked a lot of pot. So much so that I think I told this story last week. We got off the wrong stop on a subway, and she was like, "Oh my God, we're in the bad neighborhood." And I looked around; it was the cleanest neighborhood I've ever seen. Like, it was spotless, and I was just like, "Okay, relax. I'm from New Jersey. I think I'll be fine." And then, like, I was watching TV again. This is like being in an alternate universe, and it was a news story about a guy who had been killed 3 years ago. And I said to her, "Who's this guy?" She was like, "Oh, he was shot 3 years ago and he died." And I was like, "Yeah, but who was he?" "Well, he was a guy. He died." And I'm like, "Yeah, but who was he? Why are they talking about him?" "Well, because he was shot 3 years ago and he died." And I was like, "Yeah, I get it, but who was shot today?" And she was like, "Nobody got shot. Nobody's been shot for 3 years in Toronto." I was like, "Oh, that's weird." Ardent. Oh yeah, Tony's Canadian girlfriend again. I know. Indie Phantom. French chicks are potheads. There are a lot of potheads in Canada. That whole place smells like New Jersey smells right now. Yeah, everybody's smoking pot here now. It's ridiculous. Let's see. LOL. I do the occasional local story, and it really shows you how prosaic life in Newfoundland is compared to anywhere else. We make big deal about kids beating up people. Interesting. JC, yeah, all the Indians they brought over are running and shouting, shooting everyone. Let's see. James Vanderbeek selling autographed Varsity Blues merch to cover cancer costs for himself and others. Oh, man. He sounds like he's having a tough time. JC, it's legal here. I can go to the store and get some whenever I want. Yeah, it's legal here too now. William Wallace, French chicks are potheads? I fail to see the problem here. Well, if you got to finance one, there's the problem. There's your problem. Indie Phantom, I remember when there was a murder in my town and it was news for like a decade. Wow. That's like Wednesday here. I used to live in a town called Lindenwold, and Lindenwold had its first murder like, oh gosh, it would have been about 10 years ago. And that was barely a news story. Because we have so many apartment complexes. Tim Burton says, sure, he'll collaborate with Johnny Depp again. I guess he will. Daniel Craig says construct masculinity was amongst his biggest reservations about playing James Bond. Oh, great. Now, not only did he help ruin James Bond, now he's going to complain about it. Ugh. God, is he not the worst James Bond ever now? Oh, which Bond were you? I was the one that died. At JEC, Ardent at JEC. Don't forget the Haitians and Jamaicans. They were the pioneers, pistoleurs in Canada. Ardent, non-functional potheads. William Wallace, LOL, yep, the mooch adrift. Agreed. Let's see. Creating big waves has Disney's marketing brought the masses back for Moana 2 and sequels promo campaign worth $100 million. Maybe. I mean, Disney is good at promoting stuff when the movie is halfway decent, so the movie doesn't even have to be that good. Craig has decided to go woke now, says Ardent. Oh yeah, I mean, any guy who would say, "Oh, I'm going to die and play James Bond," yeah, sure. Yeah, he's already too far gone. If I was playing James Bond, you handed me a script and I died at the end, I would say, you're going to have to kill me for real to shoot this. Indie Phantom, I hate Craig as Bond as much as he hated playing him. Apparently he did, even though he was in one good Bond movie. Casino Royale's good, but that's it. Let's see. Bunch of celebrity nonsense. Don't care. All right, moving on to Bleeding Fool. John Watts pulled plug on Wolf's sequel because he doesn't trust Apple. Yeah, that's the why. Yeah, didn't this movie like tank? Did nobody? This wasn't like very well received. I was shocked they were going to do a sequel. William Wallace, Roger Moore, and Pierce Bronson. Yeah, they were good. I mean, to me, it's always the OG, but Roger Moore had its moments, and Pierce never got a good script, in my view. JC, I like Skyfall. I could never sit through all of Casino Royale. Oh, I think that one's a good one. Indie Phantom. Quantum of Solace is the worst Bond movie ever made, hands down. Other than the one where he dies, which I assume is worse because he dies. Indie Phantom. Craig was photographed in a dress for a promo years ago. Ardent. Henry Cavill would be such a great Bond. Yeah, they're never going to do it, though. Not until the woke idiots get purged. And I just mean not killed or anything, but like, you know, they lose all their power. People finally get sick of them and like fire them or cut them out. You know, that's what I would love to see. I would love somebody to take over Broccoli and just cut out all the woke nonsense, and all the people who are woke just get cut out of the whole thing. But unfortunately, these woke idiots are there to run everything into the ground. Like, that's part of their job. As Marxists, they want to deconstruct everything to nothing because they consider that a victory. So to destroy Bond is to claim a victory over it. Because, of course, they can't create anything. William Wallace, love Goldeneye, hugely. Ardent, Connery was king. Indie Phantom, Henry Cavill is pretty boring, in my opinion. Not a good Superman. Also, not a good script in his defense. Ardent, yeah, Cavill will have aged out by the time people come back to Bond. JC, Craig has done gay movies before. You could see his little Craig in that one movie, Love is the Devil, about a painter, Francis Bacon. I don't want to see that. Universal struggling with Wicked fans once again, this time for piracy. Imagine your fans are so hyped for your movie, you think about going after them for piracy claims. So insane. I mean, you think they're actually making copies of the movie and passing it out? No. They're shooting little snippets of it and singing along with it. That's what they're doing. Unbelievable. Oy. Unflattering Elon Musk graphic novel struggling to find an English publisher. Hey, JEC, you want to publish something? Here you go. Spawn creator Todd McFarlane returns to writing duties with issue 360. Oh, yeah, that ought to clear things up. I interviewed Todd, and he's a really nice guy. I like Todd, despite his flaws. But Todd, to me, is a guy who starts 3 sentences and finishes 4 different ones. Like, his writing, he's like one of the creators. I would tell him, dude, you should not write anything. He's got good ideas. He's got great ideas, in fact, sometimes, but he should not write. To me, he's just not a writer. Indie Phantom. The most tired story is Idris Elba as Bond. Story is like a decade-old rumor. Yeah, it was never going to happen. He's kind of too... I mean, they would have probably done it in the 2000s, I'll say, but he already did it. He did it in Luther. If you watch Luther now, Luther is basically James Bond. More reshoots. Test audience still don't like Captain America Brave New World. That was from November 28th. Can you imagine? This movie's coming out in February and they still can't finish it. Nobody likes it. I mean, here's the thing. That's not how you make a movie. Like, here's how you make a movie. I mean, this is going to sound unbelievably obvious, but here's the first thing you do. Write the script. And then you pass the script around to the people who are going to work on the movie, and so you come to the conclusion, oh, this is a good script. Yeah, let's shoot this. Or, yeah, no, I want to change some things. Or, no, this is a terrible script. We should rewrite it before we do anything else. That's how you do movies. That's the first thing you do, is you write the script and you rewrite it until it's at a point where you're not going to change it. Doesn't make any sense. Indy Phantom, the rumor is Ford was playing Trump. Ford was playing Trump? JC, just admit you failed and dump it in the theater. Yeah, I mean, at this point. Alex Ogle, it might be interesting to see John Boyega as Bond. He'd be crap, but it might be interesting. Indy Phantom, dump it on streaming. They can't now. I mean, the rumor is they got almost $400 million tied up in this thing. They gotta fix it. Like, they passed that point. That ship has sailed. That ship would have been the first draft of this movie. They're in their third reshoot at least. I think it's higher than that, actually, but Alex Ogle, Boyega as Bond and Sydney Sweeney as a lot of vagina. Indy Phantom, yep, Ford as the president was a Trump-like character. I would say, who would I put as Bond? Like, it doesn't even matter at this point. You need a guy, with kind of some rough edges like Connery had. And the last couple of guys didn't have that. William Wallace, what do you think of David Lynch's Dune, Blue Velvet, Twin Peaks? I liked Blue Velvet. I loved Twin Peaks up until the final episode, and then I was kind of like, oh, you're leaving me hanging. What the hell? And then, you know, I tried to watch the sequel series, and I was just like, I don't know what's happening. I still don't know I watched about 3 or 4 episodes, and then I just got tired and bailed. David Lynch's Dune, I'll say this, it's interesting. It's okay. I like that Sting's in it. Sting didn't get enough airtime as an actor. I really wanted Sting to play John Constantine before he got too old to do it. Because John Constantine was based on Sting. He was the model for the character. And man, they just waited too long. Indy Phantom, test screening stories. Do I have any? Not really. None of the movies I worked on were test screened. They weren't even good enough for that, in my opinion. JC, John Bodega isn't handsome enough to be Bond. Isn't really a leading man at all. Wild at Heart is still my favorite Lynch movie. Oh yeah, that's a good one. I like that one. Don't really like any of the stuff he did in the 90s. Hate his Dune. God, I'm trying to think of somebody. I mean, I would like to see Bond put back in, again, the Cold War. If he did that, then it kind of doesn't matter who you get, but Henry Cavill would be fine. anyone like him would be fine. Anybody English or Scottish or whatever. But you know, I just think at this point all these IPs are done and over. Hollywood's ruined them all. They need new ones. And I know what's going to happen. At some point when finally the dam breaks, you're going to see what needs to happen is someone needs to do a new movie that is the biggest hit in history. It's like literally the biggest movie ever. And then finally the studios will go, "Oh, we should do that." And then they'll all start doing new movies. William Wallace. Yeah, I meant Fire Walk With Me, the movie. I didn't like that. It just... Yeah, it just... I don't like prequels. And that was a prequel, and... I don't know. It didn't work for me. I just wanted to see more of Twin Peaks. I like Twin Peaks. Indie Phantom. No, I meant the Captain America test screenings were bad, and it was more Orange Man bad. Probably. I mean, how hard is it to do a Captain America movie? It's so friggin' easy. But these movies are running into the same problem the comics ran into. In the comics, what would happen is Captain America or the Avengers, they would progress it to the point at which the popular characters were spun into their own comics, and they weren't in the main comics anymore. So, when I read the Avengers in the 80s, it was the B team. It was War Machine, Hercules, Tigra, Black Knight, all these second stringers. And, their sales slowly started to go down, and eventually they finally wised up and said, "Oh yeah, we'll bring back Cap and we'll bring back the other guys," and then everybody started reading it again. It's the same thing with Captain America. Yeah, the Captain America, I'm sure, comic has probably spun it off into different Captain Americas, and it wasn't Steve Rogers. I don't think they ever did the Black Captain America in the Captain America comic, but maybe they did. Who cares? But the inevitable result would be that eventually Marvel would go, "Oh yeah, we got to bring back the original Cap because our sales are too down. This isn't working." Or it'd work for a while and then it would stop. And then they'd bring back Steve Rogers and everybody would be happy again. But they can't do that in a movie without bringing back Chris Evans, who apparently doesn't want to do it. He's too busy being a commie or whatever he's trying to be. So, they're not going to do it. Indie Phantom, have you seen all these actors on Cameo? Kind of hilarious. No, they're all doing Cameo? God, talk about grubbing. I mean, he's got to be making millions on Captain America. What are you going to do Cameo for? I mean, I guess you could argue it's for, people who are real fans and maybe they're sick, or I don't know, you charge a lot of money, but it just seems greedy. Oh man. You guys don't know it, but I am farting up a storm in here. The whole office is starting to smell pretty dank. So I don't know how much more I could take of my own stink. Man, I got to turn on a fan or something. Jesus. Got to get some air in here before I pass out like that guy in 7. Jesus. Whew. Whoo-wee. All right. Anything else on this thing? No. All right, moving on to the wrap. Iona shatters Thanksgiving box office record with $221 million in extended opening. I mean, this just means they're going to make like 5 other Moanas, which, God forbid. JC, $500 for literally 2 minutes of work, and then you get your assistants to send people the video. Yeah, but like, if I had millions of dollars, even that wouldn't entice me, unless it was just like, oh, I'll make $500 today and then I'll go blow it. Like, maybe that part of it would, but I don't know. It just seems grubby. Yeah, this is a wrap, but they're covering Senator Bernie Sanders backing Doge. Elon Musk is right. Elon Musk is right. I'm a communist, but I don't believe in government inefficiency. I'm a socialist, but I have 3 houses. Aren't they making a live action Moana 2? Says JC. I think they are. Isn't it Dwayne Johnson? I saw a picture of it this week with him in the. He's in a bodysuit with the tattoos, so he doesn't have to get the tattoos, I guess, or sit there while they draw them all on him. I don't know why he just didn't get like temporary tattoos. JC, no, you make $500 or $5,000 for 20 minutes work, then you go on with your day. I guess. Indie Phantom, Bernie sucks. No, I in fact do not suck. I am merely a communist. And as all communists suck, I do not suck more than any of them. Indie Phantom, yeah, live action next year. Biden spoke to Americans or family of American hostage Eden Alexander. U.S. Secretary Advisor says Hamas is feeling the pressure. Oh, bull. Hamas is going to kill that dude thanks to you, Biden, you idiot. Ardent, I love how Bernie went from hating on millionaires until he became one. Yeah, you notice he doesn't mention millionaires now. He mentions billionaires. Like, he never mentions millionaires, but he'll mention billionaires all day. I do not like billionaires now. Millionaires are okay. They are my people. But billionaires, these people need to pay more taxes. We need to either that or make me a billionaire. Truly a guy who can't make enough money. Tom Brady is wasting Fox Sports $375 million, columnist says. That is funny. I don't watch it, but does anybody watch Tom Brady doing his sports talk? Is he bad at it? Ardent, I love how Bernie went from hating millionaires till he became one. Indie Phantom, Biden blows. Biden blows. Yeah, definitely Biden. JC, he only talks about billionaires now because of inflation. Thanks, Joe Biden. All right, Cosmic Book News. Marvel's Fantastic Four mystery character Tenoch Herberta back as Namor or Namor. God, one of the worst, I don't know what you even call it, one of the worst adaptions of a character ever. He looks nothing like Namor. He wasn't even in shape. Like, how do you hire a guy? Oh, he's a swimmer. He's constantly swimming and he's constantly in the water. Yeah, let's get the doughiest Latino guy we could find. Who was it? One of the artists at Marvel Comics showed off his body. He said, "I'm in better shape than this guy," and he like took a picture of himself and flexed. Alex, at Arnott, everyone's a communist until they got some money. The comedian Spike Milligan summed it up nicely by saying, money doesn't buy you happiness, but it does get you a better class of enemy. Let's see. When does Beetlejuice 2 stream on Max and HBO? Who cares? James Gunn Lanterns Woke, hinted at by Tom King, rumored casting. Oh boy. JC, let's put a bunch of crap in his face too. The kids all have crap in their face now. Oh, you mean the jewelry, the jade jewelry on Namor. Superman, James Gunn ditching big part of the story. No, it's not a look. Skipping the origin of Superman when everybody knows the origin of Superman. There are literally babies in the womb right now who know the origins of Superman. That's how much we know the origins of Superman. You don't need to do it. In fact, you could do it in the credit sequence in about, 30 seconds. Just show the rocket, show the baby being discovered, show the farmhouse. Done. Over. New Batman animated movie in development. I guess. Who's going to do the voice is the big question now that Conroy's gone. Maybe they could get one of the old Batmans to do it, like Christian Bale or even Michael Keaton. That would be fun. People would tune in for that. I mean, if it was a good script. Vin Diesel, feeling the pressure of Fast X2, wants to bring it back to real street racing and brotherhood. Well, it's a little late for that now. I mean, you've been doing these wild stunts that make no sense for years, adding The Rock and Jason Statham and Idris Elba with, cyborg powers. Now you're going to get back to your roots? Who the hell wants to see that? JC, the original Superman cartoon from the 40s did the origin in 10 seconds at the start of the first episode. Yeah, that's all you need. And Henry Cavill's Voltron adds 2 more to the cast. I don't know if this movie's going to be any good. I never liked Voltron all that much. It was okay. It seems like an okay role for Henry, but not the best role. But I guess. Oh no! No plans for Marvel's Agatha Season 2, hints Catherine Hahn. Oh no! JC. It's called Fast 12, but it's the 11th movie in the series. No, it's part 2 of the 10th movie. That's why it's Fast X Part 2. And I think that's going to be the last movie. I think. God willing, it will be. I am not interested in seeing that. I haven't seen any of the Fast and Furious movies. None of them. And I stand by that. I've seen a few clips. Oh, God, I'm still belching after this entire stream. I've seen a few clips. I'm not impressed. It never really appealed to me. And I like car stunts, but their car stunts are always dumb to me. They're never really cool because, I don't know, Vin Diesel is always trying too hard. He's a try too hard guy for me. He's always flexing, and I don't understand why. He doesn't, I don't know. I just don't like the script in Fast and Furious. It doesn't make any sense to me. So I preferred the scripts in Triple X. Those made a little bit more sense. But yeah, I'm not interested. Not a Fast and Furious guy. Alex Ogle, they'll keep making F&F films until they don't make money anymore. The Asian market will ensure it lasts forever. Well, I think the next move is they're going to try to spin off. The rumor is they're doing another Hobbs and Shaw movie. Hobbs and Shaw were the Jason Statham and the Dwayne Johnson characters who teamed up against Idris Elba in their own movie. But now the rumor is they're going to do a sequel to that. JC, part 2 of the 10th movie. So it's the 11th movie. 10 plus 10, X equals 10 plus 2 equals 12. These are the stupidest movie series ever. Why is this so complicated? I don't know. I don't know, JEC. All right. Well, I'm out of stuff. So let's wrap it here because I think I got to use the facilities. What's coming up? What did we learn today? Well, we learned the box office is back, baby. Oh, it's back. It is back in a big way. Let me see if I can see the Wicked. No, still can't see anything on the numbers outside that main page. Jeez, I was lucky to get that. Alex, Tony's farting wrist turns his Ron Paul sign green. I hope little Jonah's okay. John Adams is here, and he says good night. Well, better late than never. JC, I heard stories about Vin D from people who were extras on Fast movie. Apparently, he's like 5'7". His muscles are CGI at this point. So he's like Tom Cruise. He's like a little guy. Hey. He'd slap his head. Slap, 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 like Benny Hill. I hear he's a big Dungeons and Dragons guy, though. I think that could be my in to write a Fast and Furious sequel, Or I could write him a Dungeons and Dragons movie. That would be cool. I'm sure he'd like that. He could play like a fighter. I think he'd be a good fighter. He's a good action guy. I like him in the what's the name movies. What the hell is it called? The one where he's in space. I forget. See how much I like the movies? Ardent, if anyone's interested, I have a new merch, including a piece based in film noir, which I may try to make a new character out of. Kind of inspired me. Well, put a link. Ardent, also, I'm on with Yiz, the eunuch for Discordant Dragons tomorrow night. I have no idea what that is. JC, they write Fast and Furious movies? Ardent, Riddick. Yeah, that's it. Riddick. I like the Riddick stuff. It's okay. He seems to have good moves in that. American Dad did a funny episode where two of the characters find a Fast and Furious movie script in a plane that went down. It was like a plane full of drugs, and it crashed in a jungle somewhere. And it's the Steve character finds it. Him and Roger, and they go through the screenplay, and it's full of all this homosexual sex. So they take it all out and take it to Hollywood because they think JC Pitch Black was the first one. Oh, there it is. And there's Ardent's link to his Redbubble for his new merch. So they take all the gay sex out of it. They take it to Hollywood, and they read it, and the guy reads it, and he goes, "Yeah, the script's good. Where's all the gay sex?" And they're like, "What? You wanted all the gay sex? Of course we wanted all the gay sex. You know, we shoot the movie with all the gay sex, and we release it in Europe, but then we take it all out for the audiences here." So it was funny. It's a funny episode if you haven't seen it. That was a good show, American Dad. I like that better than Family Guy in retrospect. Ardent. She's also on YouTube. This is Yiz the Eunuch. Yiz is a she, huh? Interesting. Yes, and I will be on that podcast on Wednesday, but I don't know the name of it. I will post it in my Twitter thread, so go there. Vote me up here if you get a second. Ardent, rumble.com, Ardent Party. Since I'm shilling, I might as well shill all the things. Alex Ogle, TV pitch, reboot Benny Hill with Vin D as the bald man and Sydney Sweeney heading up the Hills Angels. But who to play Benny Hill? Maybe a certain New Jersey writer. I don't know if I'm fat enough to play Benny Hill. I guess I could gain a few pounds. I could work on that. I'll have some cake right now. In fact, what's coming up for me? Oh, I got some stuff coming up. Oh, I'm definitely doing stuff. I am Saturday. I'm doing the Dickens fair market or something. It's a Christmas market. That's why it's called Dickens. From 10 to 4 on Saturday. Then at night, the same day, I'm going to my local town here, a new town, or the town that's nearby, Laurel Springs, for Maker's Workshop, 6 to 9. There's going to be a tree lighting ceremony and all that. And then I'm doing something on Sunday. I don't remember. I got to look it up. Oh, Holiday Extravaganza at Dan Sations in Hainesport. I don't know how I got this, but it's from 10 to 1. Ardent, LOL. Ardent at Alex Ogle, sucking up to the boss. Yeah. Alex Ogle, you at Ardent, you know it. You're a good man, Alex. You're a good man. What else is going on? I'm working on book 17 of the Pineys. My goal is to get it done before the end of the year. And it's going to be the most American Pineys. That is my hint to you about what it's about. I can't say any more than that. But I did sell some books this weekend, so I was very excited by that. Because I have a Christmas story in book 16 of the Pineys. It's the Piney that saved Christmas. So check that out if you get some time. And that's about it for me. Tony D and Little Joan. You okay, Little Joan? Oh, she's asleep. Thanks for tuning in. And we'll see you
in the next one.